a fresh Monday market review episode. Definitely a lot to talk about today. I've been on holiday for a week, so there's lots to discuss, and also just in general, the market is in a pretty tricky spot and a dangerous spot as well when it comes to potentially bidding in current prices. I'm going to be covering a bunch of different charts today. We're going to be going over BTC, the dollar, ETH, Sol, and then a couple of altcoins that I have my eye on. So we'll start off with BTC because this seems like the lead at the moment, you know, with BTC.D looking the way it does, looking at breaking back above that 58% region. It's really a place that we want to see BTC.D start to roll over again. I'll get onto the BTC.D side of things shortly and sort of where I would like to see it reject and with what sort of area on Bitcoin. But for now, you know, 58% is a really important place for BTC.D to continue to stay below. I fear that if BTC.D starts to break above 58% and potentially towards that 60% region, it could look at new highs once again. So for now, anywhere between this 58% to 60% region for BTC.D looks like a rejection point. So, you know, what I kind of want to see from BTC is that if we see further breakdown from it towards that 85 to 82%, 85k to 82k region, I would like to see BTC.D sort of spike into the 80% followed by a blow off, and you know, in which case during this blow off we should see a real rotation into ETH and altcoins. I think since ETH and altcoins have been bleeding for quite a while now, since December, it seems only right that relief is due, and you know, we're seeing some really cheap prices across the board again that we haven't seen for several months now, you know, back to November levels. I think there can be a rotation for from BTC into ETH, into Sol, into altcoins, as long as we see that BTC.D rejection from this 60 to 58%. So keep that in mind for now, and I think, you know, depending on the dollar, which I'll get on shortly, that can be a good scenario for us. So obviously we know that the dollar is highly uncorrelated to Bitcoin, right? In the sense that when the dollar seems to trend really well, BTC will trend poorly, right? So when the dollar increases, we can see that since the top of our December high, the dollar seemed to rally from that 106, 107 to now 110, 109 region. And from there, we can see that BTC has suffered in price and has suffered to the downside. We did see some mild correlation between the dollar and BTC back from when Trump was elected president. Obviously, the market favored upside following a Trump win, and the markets reacted very well to that. So we did see some correlation from the dollar and BTC, but ever since BTC sort of put in toppy price action with this like 3 drive into the high, and the dollars continue to rally, and not only that, the dollar has started to break from its over 2 year or just around 2 year range. The dollar breaking from this 2 year range is a pretty key place for it to break from, and a place that we should continue to keep an eye on, which I'll talk about shortly. But you know, since the dollar has broken from that 2 year range, we can see that BTC has suffered, and you know, we've seen a pullback of around 15 to 17% on BTC since that dollar break. So talking about the dollar breakout on this 2 year range, it's pretty key for us to see a rejection soon from it. We had 2 cases from this, one from back in 2017, which when the dollar deviated back below this range that it was in, started trading down, we saw really bullish price action from crypto markets. The second time again was from March 2020, once the dollar deviated above that range high area and traded back down towards range lows, we saw a pretty bullish period from crypto markets. So basically we can expect a similar thing, that if the dollar does reject soon during Q1 of this year and breaks back below the 2 year range high that it has officially broken from, we could see a really nice bullish period from crypto, especially from Bitcoin and other majors like Sol and ETH. quickly to talk about the higher time frame from BTC. I do believe that BTC is still on their trajectory for much higher prices throughout Q1 of this year, looking at topping towards March and April. I do believe that we have another couple of months left of Bitcoin price action. And if we look at the sort of cycle bottom to top every time, it's a minimum of around 790 days, on average around 820, 830 days, which puts us around that March to April sort of time period. I believe that we are on a trajectory for around 140k at some point, but I do think that this pullback is the pullback that we're going to start to see rotation into other coins like ETH, Sol, and altcoins. I do believe that the next rally higher from BTC will be the rally that we see this true rotation. As I've just discussed, DXY shows some weakness along with BTC.D, right? We need the stars to align for something like this to play out, and we should be cautious. So back to BTC and a plan for the week and for the rest of the month. We're going to want to see BTC get back above this 92k region. If we can deviate under here and reclaim 92, I think there's a good chance of seeing 98 to 100k once again from BTC this week, back inside this what looks to be a much smaller range within our higher time frame range. So reclaim above 92, we can look at trading towards 98 to 100. In which case I'll look at taking some longs, and we'll discuss these further shortly. Until then, I do think we are at risk of cascading towards this 85 to 82k region. Overall, this 85 to 82k region looks really good for spot positions. And if we did get some sort of cascade candle, this is the area I'd look at leveraging up a lot and buying into spot heavy and going true risk on. ETH is another coin I want to talk about. We did get a sweep of these lows back from November and is moving into a pretty key area now. 2700 for ETH is an all-important region. I do believe that for ETH to remain bullish this year, it really needs to continue to hold above 2700. So if we do get a cascade down as low as that, this is a really nice area to look at bidding ETH spot. If for whatever reason we do not get that low on ETH towards 2700, look for a reclaim back around that 3200 region. It's the Q4 VWAP, the Q from last year, the Q3 value area high, and also the 2024 yearly VWAP around that 3100 region. So if for whatever reason we didn't get that cascade lower, look at a reclaim back above 31 to 3200 from ETH. And I think if we reclaim there, we can look at targeting 35 to 4k and rallying for the rest of Q1. Something I'm yet to comment on is the Trump inauguration from the 20th of January. I think this is going to be a huge catalyst for crypto markets. With Trump being pro-crypto coming into office, I think he is going to want to favor his bags heavily. As someone who clearly is not shy to talk about crypto, I think he is going to be leading the way for a big catalyst in the crypto markets. And from the 20th of January, he's going to be inaugurated into that position as president of the United States. So this can be a very bullish catalyst for crypto, and I think can start the next leg up and lead us into that March to April top across the board. The last major I want to talk about is Sol. This is retesting this 173 region, which I think is a really nice place to hold as a whole. I do believe that if we did get a cascade towards 150, that's a max bid region. But overall, I'm pretty much watching for this BTC reclaim this week above 92k. If BTC can reclaim 92k, then I'd be interested in buying back into my sold spot, since I sold back in December, around mid-December before Christmas. I've been actively looking to reposition into my sold spot, and I think we are getting very close to a bottom on that very soon. Couple altcoins I'm looking at, dare I say it, the name, what a ridiculous name for a coin, but Filecoin. This is looking pretty good on the 4 hour. Nice 3 drive into the low with momentum sort of shifting to the upside as well. Bit of a momentum div on the 4 hour. I've got a buy signal on The 30-minute, I'm looking for a move back down into this 0.8 for a trigger to get long. And I think from there we can look at putting in a move back towards $1 and above. This likely revolves around BTC and whether we can reclaim 92k. Another coin I want to comment on is Hype. I believe that this has good potential over the next few months. I'm looking for a sweep of these lows and a reclaim to get into it, like a little deviation. Otherwise, I'll look at chasing back above $23. I think if it can reclaim $23, we have a really nice power of free play, which you may see I have mentioned many times. And you have this accumulation, deviation. Once it reclaims, we can look at further expansion from that. So above $23, I think Hype can trade back towards like 40 plus. And ends as well as an ETH beta coin. I think this is worth keeping an eye on. Retesting weekly breaker here. I think looking for a reclaim above 31 this week, and I will buy a spot on it for a move back towards the 40s. That pretty much sums it up for this week's Monday market review. Lots to discuss and lots that I've covered. Feel free to check out any socials in the description, and hope to see you next week.